What would you do if you only had 3 weeks left to live? Would you party like crazy? Would you take drugs? Would you have sex? Or would you kill yourself? Or would you try to find true love, your family, or the meaning of your life? Such is the dilemma faced by the characters in Seeking, a friend for the end of the world, a dramedy that mixes laughter and tears while exploring the human condition in the face of impending death. On the way back, Dodge and Linda hear on the radio that the last-minute attempt to save humanity has failed. Matilda, an asteroid 90,000 wide, is going to hit Earth in 3 weeks. Dodge feels a chill in his chest and mumbles that they missed their turn. Linda looks at him with disbelief and anger, then furiously leaves the car, leaving him alone. With 21 days remaining, Dodge clings to his routine while others seek quick escapes from the inevitable. At the gym, Dodge watches the screen as the world collapses. No more calls, no more electricity, no more water. Soon, no more life. He goes to work, avoiding the chaos in the streets. He is an insurance agent, but who needs insurance now? At the meeting, her boss hands out promotions like candies, and her colleagues react in various ways. Some laugh, others cry, others weep. When Dodge returns to his apartment, his mailbox is empty. He hopes for a letter from Linda, but she is gone for good. He enters his house and hears a familiar sound. He thinks it's Linda, but it's just Elsa, their maid. He smiles at her and continues his work, as if nothing has changed. He asks her to stay and watch TV with him, but she refuses. He tells her not to come back next week, but he regrets it afterwards. Maybe she doesn't know about Matilda, or maybe she doesn't want to know. She leaves, but promises to return next week. Later, Dodge watches other news and sees that the airports are closing. No more flights, no more trips, no more escapes. The next day, Dodge wakes up with his face covered in spider bites. He wishes it were a nightmare, but it's his new reality. They drag themselves to work or they sell insurance to the condemned. His day worsens when a man decides to end it and lands on his car, splashing blood and guts. With 14 days left, Dodge goes to a party hosted by his friends Warren and Di. Diane notices Linda's absence and says she's never been good for Dodge, something he's never seen. She tries to set him up with her friend, but Dodge has no appetite for love. Diane warns him that he'll die alone if he doesn't find someone, but Warren says he'll die with everyone else. Karen, who looks like $1 million, has hooked Dodge. As the night progresses, the party turns into frenzy, and Warren even lets the kids drink alcohol. Karen keeps making advances to Dodge, but he drives and talks to Roach instead. Roch boasts about his adventures with different women since the world has become a hell and invites Dodge to join him with Karen, but Dodge refuses. When his friends start to sniff lines, Dodge escapes into the bathroom. A few moments later, Diane comes to see Dodge and, to his great surprise, she starts to kiss him. He breaks away from her embrace, shocked by her betrayal towards her friend to whom she is married. She brushes aside his protest, saying that love is a luxury they can no longer afford. Dodge feels a pinch of sadness as he leaves her behind to return to his lonely apartment. He contemplates the faded photo of Olivia, his first and only love, and wishes to see her again. He plays the harmonica, trying to fill the silence with the melody, but then he hears another sound, sobs coming from outside his window. He looks down and sees a woman curled up on the emergency balcony. He opens the window and reaches out to her, feeling her tremble against him, the girl who lives below him, but he never spoke before. She tells him how she lost her boyfriend and her flight, and how she has no way of getting home. Penny faintly smiles and takes a sip of his syrup to mix it all with vodka. Then she offers him some weed, but he declines. She says the drugs helps her sleep, that she could even sleep until the end of the world. That night, Penny sleeps like a log on Dodge's couch, oblivious to the noise from the TV and vacuum cleaner. Dodge tries to wake her up by pinching her nose, but she doesn't move. She only opens her eyes when the night is over, and Dodge escorts her to her door. She hands him a pile of letters she has been keeping for years and asks him about Linda, thinking she is his roommate. He tells her how Linda cheated on him with a stranger in their apartment. Dodge, overwhelmed with anger, throws out Linda's belongings. He then goes to a park and drinks a bottle of window cleaner, hoping to end his misery. But he survives and wakes up to find a stray dog tied to his foot and a note saying, "Sorry." He turns on the TV and sees a report on a violent riot, then opens the mail Penny gave him and finds a love letter from Olivia dating back a few months. He feels a glimmer of hope, but then a brick shatters her window due to the riot outside. He hears screams in the hallway, so he grabs the dog and runs to the emergency stairs. He reaches Penny's apartment and sees her ex-boyfriend Owen glaring at him with jealousy. Dodge tries to wake Penny and warn her about the riots, but Owen keeps disturbing them. Penny wants to take some of her vinyl records with her, so Dodge tells her he knows someone with a plane who could take her to her family if she helps him escape. Penny takes the wheel and runs away without Owen, but she has a hard time getting out of a bad situation. Owen comes out to help her. Dodge, in a hurry to leave, promises to take Penny to her family if she helps him get out. Their vehicle runs out of fuel, so they have to continue on foot in the road. As tensions rise due to their current situation, Dodge blames Penny for missing the last chance to rekindle with his lost love, Ollie, whose letter arrived too late. Penny feels a pang of guilt in her chest, but also a spark of compassion for him. She makes a vow to help him find Olivia and flags down a passing truck driven by Glenn. Glenn is a man who has suicidal tendencies, having planned to end his days after hearing the world's expiry date. But he is also afraid of hell and wonders if suicide would condemn his soul. He confides in Penny, who asks him to tell his story, while Dodge suspiciously eyes the shovels in the back of the truck. Len stops to relieve himself and invites Dodge to join him, but he takes off. Penny walks Sorry, the dog they adopted along the way, and when she comes back, she finds Glenn and Dodge laughing. They've cleared up a misunderstanding that almost led to violence. But suddenly, a bullet pierces Glenn's nape and they collapse to the ground. The actual killer has found them and he escapes at full speed, and Penny buries Glenn with the shovels he had brought and takes his truck. But they have to dig him up again because they buried the keys with him. They continue to drive until they reach a place called Frenzy's, where they meet two overly friendly waitresses. Darcy and Katie shower Dodge with kisses and confetti when Penny lies to them that it's her birthday. They spend a crazy time at the restaurant and then escape in the truck where they passionately kiss. Dodge feels guilty afterward as he is much older than her, but Penny shrugs, saying it was inevitable. They're speeding on the road, unaware of the danger that lurks. A police car turns on its lights and siren, and he pulls over, hoping for a simple warning. The agent, Wally, is in a bad mood and he finds several faults with Glenn's truck. A broken taillight, an expired license plate, and a suspicious shovel. They stop them and throw them in separate cells. Feeling like she's dragged Dodge into a nightmare, her throat tightened. Dodge tries to calm her down through the metal bars and tells her stories about his life to boost her morale. After a while, another agent comes and releases them, apologizing for Wally's rudeness. He also tells them that their truck has been impounded, so he offers to take them. He asks her to take them to Camden, where Penny's ex-girlfriend, Speck, lives. Speck is a soldier with a good heart, ready for the apocalypse. He warmly welcomes them and lets Penny use his satellite phone to call her family. Then, he tells Dodge that there's no room for him in the bunker, only for Penny. But Penny has no intention of staying and instead asks for a guard to take Dodge to Olivia's. They go to Olivia's house, but find it deserted. They break in and make themselves comfortable. Dodge falls asleep on the couch and wakes up to find Penny preparing dinner. He sits by the fireplace while Penny talks about her likes and dislikes, and Dodge listens with a smile. In the kitchen, Penny finds a letter from Olivia to her parents with a return address. She shows it to Dodge, who decides to go there the next day. They arrive at the address, but Dodge doesn't knock on the door or look inside. He just leaves the letter for Olivia and goes away. Penny asks him why he doesn't want to see her, but he dodges these questions. He realizes he has fallen in love with Penny, but does not want to admit it to her, because she has to return to her family. He turns to look into her eyes and narrowly misses people crossing the road. They watch waves of people rushing to the shore, seeking salvation in the water. They feel a wave of love in their heart, a love that doesn't need words. They stay with the others, savouring the precious moments they have left with their loved ones. Penny and Dodge finally reach Somerset, where Dodge introduces her to Frank, his father, who had remained a stranger to him for over 20 years. They try to forget the past and the future, while the world counts its last days. They spend a wonderful night together, filling the gaps of time with laughter and stories. When Penny falls asleep, Dodge the door up to Frank's plane without a goodbye. But before he leaves, he whispers to her sleeping face that she is the love of his life. Frank takes Penny back to England, while Dodge goes home and finds a note from Karen, who is looking for him. He also finds Elsa cleaning her apartment and apologizes to her for his harsh words, telling her to be with her family. When the last news bulletin is broadcast, the presenter says the asteroid will arrive in 16 hours. So Dodge goes to Penny's apartment. To spend her last moments there, he listens to his records before lying on the floor, waiting for the end. The current. There is a jump, and Dodge gets up to see what is happening. He finds Penny has returned for him, furious that he let her go. They embrace and kiss, and Penny tells Dodge that she made Frank turn around when she woke up. They lie down together, and Penny distracts herself by talking about her childhood while explosions echo in the distance. Out of fear, but Dodge remains calm and tells her how much he loves her. He is grateful to have met her, and as he looks into her eyes, the asteroid finally strikes. And don't forget to leave a comment below to tell me what you would do if you only had 3 weeks left to live. If so, maybe you'll find your true love by the end of the world. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.